Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Cloud Institution. So today in this video we're going to see about what is Azure subnet. Okay, so in the last session, if you can remember, we have seen what is Azure VNet, which is Azure Virtual Network. So today we are going to see what is subnet in Azure. Okay, so subnet is the range of IP addresses in the virtual network. Okay, you can divide a virtual network into multiple subnets for organizing and security. Okay, so each NIC in VM is connected to one subnet in one virtual network, which means that so we're going to discuss all these things so in this session. So first of all, I'm going to explain it to you what is Azure subnet, so that has to be created under VNet. So in this session we are going to create a two subnets which is be having a exactly have two partition into the VNet. Okay, so if you want to see, if you're not followed my last video, please go back and see, check that, so how to create a VNet. So in the last session, if you can see, we have created a VNet. Okay, so that VNet is over here. If you can see here, so this is the VNet which you have created in the last video. If you click on this, click on this one, you can see that address space is 10.0.0.0/24. Now I'm going to copy this one. I'm coming here. I'm going to draw here. Okay, so now here I've created a VNet which is having the range of okay, so having a range of 10.0.0.0/24, which is the CIDR range, which is having the 256 IP addresses. Okay, 256 IP addresses. Okay, now what I'm going to do with this one is that I'm going to divide this entire network into two pieces. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create one subnet over here. I'm going to create another subnet over here. Okay, so it's going to be like two subnets. It's going to be, let's name it as a subnet 1. Okay, and then there's going to be a subnet 2. Okay, so this subnet would be, if you want to divide exactly into two pieces, what I have to do, I have to give the IP ranges, right? So the IP ranges is going to be 10.0.0.0 slash 25. Okay, so which will be having uh, having the 0 to 127 IP addresses, which is 128 IP addresses. It will be taking 128 IP addresses. Now similar way, I'm going to create another subnet which will be 10.0.0.0, sorry, 128 to 25. So which will be having again 128 IP addresses range. Okay, so now what we have done is that we have divided exactly, so this bigger network into two pieces. Okay, let's see this in a real time how this can be done. So now I'm going back here. Okay, so I'm going back here. So like, as you can see here, that there are, there are various options. Okay, but you can see here what is the subnets. Okay, if you can click on subnets. So as you can see, there is no default subnets. Okay, so we have deleted the default subnet, whatever it was about to create. So I'm going to create a subnet now. So subnet is going to be a, you know, the starting addresses is going to be 10.0.0.0. That's what it's telling, right? Like IP range is going to be like 10 dot. Okay, so I'm going to change it. Okay, so I'm going to have I'm going to give the subnet purpose is going to be a default, so Azure Bastion, all these things you can give. Now the name will be subnet 1. Okay, now I'm going to give 10.0.0.0/25 is what I'm going to give. Sorry, okay, so the size is going to be, I'm going to give 25. Okay, so sorry, the IP address range is going to be the VNet IP address range. Now I'm going to give the starting IP address of the VNet is going to be 10.0.0.0. Okay, which will be having a /25 of a CIDR range, which will be having the subnet range of 10.0.0.0 to 10.0.0.127 IP addresses, which is having a 128 IP address range is going to be taking it, right? So now I'm going to create, I'm going to leave all these things as a default one. Okay, so service endpoint, all these things will be discussed in the future classes. I'm going to add it. Okay, so now what you have done, we have created this subnet. Okay, so this subnet is done. Okay, so we have created the subnet with the 128 IP address range. So now go back here, so what do you mean by 128 available IP addresses? Okay, so even though we have seen that 128 IP addresses will be available, but it's only taking 123 IP addresses, which means that 123 IP addresses is the usable IP addresses. Okay, so by default the VNet and subnet, all these things will be taking a so it's different kind of IP addresses for their networking purpose. Okay, networking and broadcasting purposes. So that is the reason why it will be showing that 123 IP addresses, which will be 123 usable IP addresses. Okay, you can assign these 123 IP addresses for your virtual machines. Now, second, I'm going to create a subnet, which is mean that the subnet name is going to be subnet 2. Okay, so here I'm going to give short is, as you can see here, it's automatically taking the /25 range. Okay, so it's having a starting from 10.0.0.0 128 to 255, right? As you can see here, 10.0.0.128/25 is the range. Okay, it's going to be having 128 IP addresses. Okay, so the starting from 128 to 255 IP addresses it will be taking by default. Okay, so now this is going to be creating. Okay, so now I'm going to add the subnets. Okay, fair enough. Now, as you can see here, I've divided this entire network into two subnets. The entire network, which will be 256 IP addresses, will be this particular IP ranges are divided into two pieces. So the thing is, if you're going for an interview, right? The interviewer may be asking you that, hey, I have one VNet, I want to divide that entire VNet into two pieces. Okay, so what will you do? And the first questions you should be asking is that what is the CIDR range for the VNet? Okay, so if he's telling that CIDR range is going to be /24, then you'll be dividing into /25 into each. For example, if the interviewer is giving you IP range of /25, okay, so for example, if you're creating another VNet, you should be having a 10.0.0.0/25 is the VNet. Okay, so then how do you divide this entire network into two pieces? In this case, we have to create a two subnets that will be having the subnet range. Okay, so subnet 1 will be having the IP address range of 10.0.0.0.0 slash 26. Okay, similarly it will be having a address range of 10.0.0.0.64 slash 26. Okay, so whenever you want to divide the entire network, you have to be the you have to minus one number from here. Okay, so that will be having, because this particular network will be having 128 IP addresses. Okay, 128 IP address ranges. Okay, so then it will be having that the subnets will be having, okay, so 64 and 64 each IP addresses. Okay, so this is how we'll be dividing the entire network into subnets. Okay, so hope you understand this video, so how to create a subnets and VNet and all this stuff. Okay, if you have any questions, please leave your question in the below comments. Okay, so that's all about the Azure subnets. Okay, in the next classes we are going to see how to create a virtual machines, okay, with this within the subnets. Okay, so stay tuned guys, so see you in the next video.